Hello and welcome to America the Conversation. My name is Tim Philippi. You might know me as the producer of America the Podcast and producer of Shui Media. And with me today, and as always, is my co-host, America the Podcast writer and political organizer and activist, Andrew Turner. What's up, man?
Hey, buddy. Glad to be here.
Oh, man. Good, me too. This is more of a trailer, I would say, than the first full episode. We're reacting to the recent midterm election. And that went better than I fucking thought. Honestly. I mean,
it's like a date in high school that you expect to go badly and you don't embarrass yourself on. Like, it didn't go great, but like I will happily take it. Like, I wasn't traumatized by it. So.
I mean, we expected to lose the House, but I mean, like, normally was it Obama lost 40 seats, Bush lost like 60 seats, Clinton lost just as much or something like that?
Bush is the exception because of the rally around the flag in 2002.
Right.
So Bush actually gained seats in 2002 because of, 9/11, that whole little deal.
But not in 2004, though, right? He lost, or did he lose shit in 2004, or did he lose shit in 2006?
In 2004,
I thought he lost something.
In 2004, 2006, I believe he lost both. He lost seats in the House, I believe, but 2002 was his first midterm election.
Right.
So after his first election, so that's the most comparable to Biden at the moment. But it is an anomaly, like I said, because of 9/11. It is to kind of overarching underscore your case there. The vast majority of the time in a presidential first term, whoever the president who holds the power is loses seats in both the House and the Senate because we're in a seesaw, two partisan option country. So often, often the whatever party's not in power picks up seats. However, that trend did not continue this last election. They did pick up a few seats, the Republicans, but Democrats actually gained a seat in the Senate. It looks like they're going to hold on to every seat they had in the Senate. And that
probably we're going to at least probably win with Warnock, I would hope, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm phone banking for that campaign over the next 2 weeks. I think that it's likely that Warnock will win. I think Warnock's a great candidate. He's really polished. He knows what he's talking about. He knows the people of Georgia there. All politics is local. But, Walker is a challenger. I don't know if he's such a great candidate himself, but
no.
I think that a lot of Republican and Democratic voters both vote based off the little letter base next to the name.
Yeah, I mean, do you think people are not disenfranchised? It's the wrong word. Like, demotivated since they know they're not going to have the Senate? Because there's that one clip of that lady saying, "I don't care if he aborted baby eagles, endangered baby bald eagles. I just want control of the Senate."
Was that
you don't have
news?
It anymore.
Was that
I don't?
Was that
know.
OWN or Newsmax? Because I need to know which station is the most patriotic, so that I can wake up every morning and drink my Ensure. And have a cup of coffee.
Don't forget
pills.
your catheter too.
Yeah, get my
make
catheter.
Make sure you get the right catheter.
It's not painful anymore, Tim.
Yeah.
There'll be Republicans who vote for him no matter what. I will say that the hope that they don't turn out because we already have control of the Senate is just as much matched by the possibility that Democrats don't turn out because we already have control of the Senate. There's just as much a possibility that people go,
that's what I'm scared of, man.
It's like, we've already got the Senate. Like, I don't want to do this again. I've already voted for Warnock 3 times in the last 2 years. Like, and election fatigue is real, especially among
I was gonna say, there's election fatigue here because, like, I mean, with Texas, 12 million registered or eligible voters, maybe not registered, didn't vote.
Yeah, I mean,
didn't vote.
Two things to that. One, Texas is historically a not a red state, but a state of non-voters. Like, we and Republicans like work to keep it that way. It is very hard to get people registered to vote in this state. I had to become a county deputy, registered deputy, a volunteer deputy registrar, I believe is what it's technically called, in 5 different counties just to get people around DFW signed up. So I had to take tests and go prove at each county, that kind of thing. It is set up to be very hard to get registered to vote in the state of Texas, unless you do it when you get a license. Like,
right. Yeah.
But not everybody.
Don't they automatically do that?
They ask. I mean, if they're doing their job, they're supposed to ask you, do you want to register to vote?
Okay.
It's one of 1,000 other boxes you have to tick when you're a DPS. I mean, like, it is easy to do if you're there, but also a lot of people don't drive, like, even in Texas.
Yeah.
And a lot of people haven't registered since they moved last, and they'll get turned away at the polls. So there's a lot of stuff like that. Texas is a state that doesn't vote as much as we should. I know that organizations like Next Gen, like Move, like Jolt, like Battleground, are trying hard to get people registered to vote. That's a lot of their job, even more so than GOTV, get out the vote towards the end of an election, because Texas is such an underrepresented state when it comes to the people who don't vote. I will also say I think people have Beto fatigue. Nothing against Beto.
Dude. Oh, no, plenty against Beto. I never want to see him run again. All right. You know what? I am so fucking tired of him and Stacey Abrams. Like, they're great. They rally people. And, according to some people, I know Stacey kind of takes the credit for all the things that other people do. So not great.
No
Plus, she's super pro cop. And no comment. But yeah, heard it through the grapevine, if you will. And I'm so tired of them. Like Beto, he came close to beating Ted Cruz.
It is shocking to me that establishment Democrats managed to snatch defeat out of the jaws of victory yet again. It is shocking to me that the people who say, look, if we just don't change anything and we yell about how bad the other guys are, we'll definitely win.
Yeah. Dude, I watch if I hope people out there do too, Pluto. It's a app you can get. It's free TV. It's fantastic. Does not sponsor the show. Just has free Star Trek and Stargate SG-1 on it all day. Also, the price is right. But while I'm watching Star Trek.
Oh, I thought you were going to transition into a honey ad there.
Oh, no, that would be hilarious. While I'm watching Star Trek, a show about socialism in the future, I get a Greg Abbott or the John Cornyn ad back when he was running, like, the Mexicans are coming and they're gonna bring all the other Mexicans from Guatemala and they're gonna do the caravan. I'm like, what in the fuck is this? Like, I'm trying to just enjoy a show about how we've moved past this, and then I get Greg Abbott's goddamn face. But that's my point though. They advertise like crazy. The only ads I ever saw from Beto O'Rourke and being in a bubble social media wise was just on social media. I never saw one on TV. I saw a handful of ones on YouTube, I guess, but like there was nothing. There was no ads around Austin. In Austin, there was no billboards. I saw more shit for right-wing people in Austin than I did Beto.
I will say this, like, yard signs, ads don't vote. Right? Like I sure, they may have an effect. You can go argue with a bunch of people in downtown Manhattan about how effective ads are in general with advertising, versus Twitter, versus YouTube, versus TV, versus billboards. Like, there's a lot of debate on that, even in psychology and advertising classes at some of the greatest universities in the world. But what I've noticed is that people win elections when other people believe in them.
Yeah.
Like, that's when people, like, even Donald Trump, as much as he is a gross, horrible pig of a man that is allegedly responsible for multiple sexual assaults and ignored a pandemic for months, killing millions of Americans, and
allegedly killing Americans. He did. He did that. He, as president, we get to blame him for that. Yeah.
That he invented, according to him. Anyways, point being, I mean, like, even he inspired people. Now, it didn't inspire me.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
You, but like, he very much got that attitude of like something that people in Ohio and Wisconsin and a lot of the Rust Belt states, a lot of the southern states, and a lot of the traditional red states were like, including and Pennsylvania in that Rust Belt category in 2016. He got a lot of people to go, this is someone new. Right? This is someone who is going to upset the system. This is somebody who's bribed politicians. Like, he may not be a great guy, but he knows how the system works. And I believe that he will affect lasting change. And that, whether or not you're a conservative reactionary, a liberal reactionary, or a leftist, is what most Americans want, is real fundamental systematic change. They're tired of their houses being more expensive, their jobs paying the same wage as their parents and their grandparents in the 70s and 60s. They're tired of gas going up. They're tired of groceries going up. They're tired of every other issue that isn't affecting their bottom line and their pocketbook. That's the average American. Now, that's not to say that we should forget about trans rights, or that we should not push back on Dobbs and codify Roe v. Wade, or that the Green New Deal and fighting climate change isn't vastly important. It is. Those should be top of the issue. But
they don't win elections.
Well,
they should.
They might win elections if people thought that, you were actually going to fix those things. I don't think people believe that
Sure,
the Democrats
sure.
are going to fix those things, right?
No, absolutely not.
I think the Dobbs decision, the overturn of Roe from the Dobbs decision in this last election was one of the main factors that drove out young people to vote, that kept the Democrats from having a bloodbath, as Donald Trump Jr. so erroneously predicted.
And then didn't tweet the rest of the night.
Well,
hilarious.
Idiot. Sometimes the Coke hits you and gets you going fast. Sometimes it makes you go to bed.
And then you crash right down. Gonna deal with a nosebleed.
That's old Donnie Jr.'s lesson. You can't take Coke before 3 p.m. You'll crash before the election night. I think that a lot of young voters were not there like, oh boy, howdy, Joe Biden's going to fix all the problems. Like, I think they left because they were like, if the Republicans take the House and the Senate, they're going to try to pass a national abortion ban.
I think they're gonna do the opposite because they just passed codified gay marriage today. We're recording this on November 17th, 2022. And yeah, it passed the House. It just passed the Senate. It's codifying marriage equality, which includes interracial marriage. And I might add, Mitch McConnell, person who's in an interracial marriage, definitely voted against it. So, what doesn't affect them, I guess.
The Senate, is that?
No, it passed the Senate today, I thought, or something, some sort of a technical vote.
It passed the Senate, but not the House, is what I meant.
Oh, it did not pass the House?
I don't think
I thought it did.
The House yet.
Oh wait, shit! I thought it went to the. I thought it was House then Senate. Am I?
It doesn't matter. No, either chamber
can qualified for my job.
Yeah. Either chamber can write bills.
Okay. So it just passed the Senate, and it needs to go to the House. Okay.
Right,
and then they pass it back through.
And then the Democrats will put it through, or the Senate will put it through committees and that kind of thing. And what's called, well, not just the Senate. There's called, there's these bicameral committees that overlook every bill, and then they send it to the president. So
got it.
Here's the deal: if the Democrats can get their shit together and pass that in the House in the next 2 months before they lose the House officially, then that'll codify it. But they should also do that to Roe if they're going to do it with same-sex.
They need to do that shit right now, as soon as goddamn possible. But with that, no, they won't. But they should. We're not saying they will. We're never saying the Democrats will do something because they don't.
I don't want to get people's hopes up that gay marriage is legal across the land now, and it can't.
Yeah, no, it's not.
And then we don't know, that it's actually
it is. I guess
House. It is still, but
it is still technically.
We are worried that the Supreme Court will strike down, much like they did Roe v. Wade, the former decision. And
they're trying.
It leaves my mind now. I can name all the Supreme Court justices, but I cannot name every Supreme Court case in American history, unfortunately, audience.
Oh, no. I don't think we should be doing this show then if you can't do that.
Well, you're unqualified, Andrew.
No, but with that, Democrats not passing stuff, a surprise gross hero kind of emerged. Oberfell. Yeah.
Is the decision that allowed same-sex marriage. Well, marriage equality is the way we should phrase that across.
Yeah, marriage equality.
And we're worried that the Supreme Court, with a stolen seat under Mitch McConnell, that changed the balance of power. Which, by the way, we should set term limits and stack the court. But that's just my opinion.
Ted Cruz wants term limits, so let's just that's not a dig against. That's not a dig against them. He's just one of those weirdos who's oh wow, you agree with the Democrats on this? Why this? Is it that you think Ted Cruz would not want term limits? I don't know.
I think that used to be the way of the world, in that you'd find whoever was in the opposite party that did honestly agree with you on things, and then you'd get them to co-sponsor a bill, and you'd get a few people from the other party to vote. But we live in a highly polarized society in which the Republican Party entire policy position is actually obstruction and not allowing the other side to get something done. A good example of that this last year was the burning pits bill for veterans of Iraq. That barely got passed, even though you would think that Republicans
they fist bumped each other when they tried not to pass it. Those fucks.
You would think that Republicans, with all their hero worship of soldiers and veterans, would soldiers, air people. Veterans of all types,
seamen, everybody, all military service
sailors.
People.
I think sailors is
sailors
is the gender neutral term there.
Yes, that's right.
Space Forcesians.
Seamen's just fun to say. Just kind of. I mean, I know it
All
needs
right.
to be sailor, but
Two men in their 30s laughing at seamen. So I think that used to be the way that we got things done in this country, and argued that representational democratic republic works. We are so polarized now that the Republicans, I don't think, will do anything, even if they say they will. And like name the last bipartisan bill. I just named mine, the one about the burn pits, and that happened after Jon Stewart yelled about it for 6 weeks on TV.
for
Like,
years technically, but
for
like,
years,
just
no, I'm not trying to cut under his
good
work.
Lord. No,
I'm just
no,
saying,
but it's just
when
like
the media paid attention to it was those last 6
finally
weeks.
for only 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And then the other times like, oh, Jon Stewart's at the Capitol, and then nothing. I'm like, yeah, he's a lobbyist. He's trying to help veterans.
But he had to fight tooth and nail to take care of the people who fought in the wars that the very Republicans voted for, and a lot of Democrats that were unnecessary.
Everybody
got those
but
people
Bernie.
cancer. Yeah. I mean, there's like 2 people in the House, I think, that stood up and didn't vote for Iraq. And a few senators. But anyways, we'll go.
No, he was the sole senator.
Oh God, that's awesome. But also,
yeah, he was.
From
what I remember, I could be wrong. You can correct us by leaving us a 5-star review.
Yeah,
and telling me I'm wrong.
Please remember that in order to be able to tell us we're wrong on Instagram, Twitter, or any other social media, you have to leave a 5. You got to follow and leave a 5-star review and hit subscribe. I don't know what to tell you.
And then you can tell us we're wrong.
I didn't make the rules. I've been talking to Elon. He says you can't post on our Twitter unless you give us a 5-star review and subscribe and share with your friends.
But you have to pay between $8 and $20 to.
It's $8.99 to leave a bad review for us.
You got to have that plus tax. The tax, it's a lot. It's not sales tax.
No,
it's a different tax.
It's sway tax, which is another $45.
Oh God. Fuck him.
But yeah,
dude,
we're going off on a diatribe. I think that
going off of real quick, because I really want to talk about this bizarreness of how I said Democrats don't do anything, and they don't. But there's someone who's secretly trying to do things for Democrats that they've always wanted to do, and his name is alleged under investigation or whatever I have to say. Matt Gaetz said, he came forth with one subject bills. No more lobbying if you've ever been in Congress. Fucking, what was it? Taking money away from all this other shit. Like, what the is he full of shit?
Look, here's the deal. I'll work with the devil to get good things done. I doubt that I'll ever trust the devil. So I think that Matt Gaetz is always full of shit. I think the vast majority of politicians, no matter what color tie they wear, are full of shit. I think that if he really does believe in these things and he's willing to work with Democrats should listen, and they should co-sponsor bills with him. I would love to be proven wrong in this case, is what I would say. But I mean, like, it also depends on the Trump-DeSantis battle, and we'll talk about more of this later. But like, how much is the Republican Party going to be defined about saying no to Joe Biden versus trying to look like a moderate party again, right? Like, are they had a chance in 2012 and they didn't take it. They had a chance in 2016 and they didn't take it. Like, but are they going, because I think that the Republican Party has become what the Democrats were in the 70s. They're the loony party, right? Like, suburban people rarely vote for them because they see QAnon and they see storming the Capitol and they see denying election results, and they think these people are crazy. I'm going to have to vote for the Democrat or not vote. And that used to be the Democrats in the 70s, you know? I don't think it was right, but I think that was the attitude that most Americans had about the Democratic Party in the 70s. So the question is do the Republicans, if I'm a Republican strategist, like, do they want to win back that reactionary center-right suburban household that's now voting Democrat? And
that's kind of what McConnell was saying today. I heard him saying something along the lines of, like, we lost all those centrist Republicans, and I never said there was going to be a red wave, which he didn't. I'm pretty sure. Again, if I'm wrong,
he was.
Leave a comment.
He was but Mitch McConnell is the devil. But I mean, like, he did say 3 months, like 2 months ago, like, it's the quality of candidates that's the problem, and he wasn't wrong. I mean, like,
but he's still backed he backed Herschel Walker. He backed Carrie Lake, who barely lost, but still a
fucking
crazy.
spine. He's not going to stand up and become like do a Sister Soldier moment and be like,
No, 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 no. I'm not saying he's got a spot. I'm just saying, like, I mean, dude, Dr. Oz, like, I mean, like, is he now? I mean, I'm not going to try and get inside Satan's brain here, but like, does he want Trump now, or is he like, or do
no.
they just simply not know because of like we're about to talk about now?
Donald Trump
between him or Ron, Donnie or Ron.
Donald Trump has always been a wrench in the machine to the Republican establishment. He is the Frankenstein monster that they created by giving their base everything they want without question, right? The reason people don't like Democrats is because they run away from their base, and the people don't like Republicans is because they always run to them. That's why. Is Democrats always try to be this centrist party that's compromising with people who don't want to compromise with them, and thus get nothing done, which they're okay with as long as they're reelected. I think a lot of them. And then Republicans want to get reelected, and they know that they can't win a primary if they don't go far to the right. And so they go far to the right, and then they have to stick to those positions after the primary. You saw a lot of this with Dobbs, the overturning of Roe v. Wade, is we saw people in the Republican primaries this year run on, no exception, like not just draconian anti-abortion and anti-choice laws, but the idea of no incest, no exception for incest or rape, no exception for life of the mother. And then in the moment they got in a general election, they scrapped that from their websites. They stopped saying that talking point. They stopped saying that. They said, well, maybe I could consider, life of the mother or rape or like they changed their tune, because in order to win a Republican primary party, you have to be a theocratic fascist. Like in most districts, not all of them. Those 4 governors in New York probably don't have to. There's some not governors. Those 4 congressmen and women in New York don't have to. There's 4 congressmen and women or more. It's not 4. The congressmen and women in California don't have to. But the vast majority of people who live in hyper-partisan red states that are running in a Republican primary have to run as a theocratic fascist. And I hate to mix words. They call themselves Christian nationalists now. If you listen to Marjorie Taylor Greene,
they do straight up. But they said in Pennsylvania, Doug Mastriani wanted to start a true Christian nationalist Republican Party fascism. And expel every Jew.
That's fascism.
That's just normal Nazis. You want to expel the Jews?
Yes,
no.
Okay, here's the deal. I want a highly centralized government that is authoritarian with a single daddy figure leading it, and I want to expel all minorities and Jews. What does that sound like to everyone?
Not a Nazi, not at all. That's just Christian nationals. We're trying to, be, we want it to be like when it was the 50s and everybody went to church and watched Charlie Brown.
We are going to polish this
No offense to Charlie Brown.
This racist turd, this genocidal turd, we are going to polish it until it shines. Yeah,
very too good impression.
I think that the Republicans, they're becoming a regional party, right? Like, they have lost the middle. And that's not to say I think the Democrats should be running on the middle. I think that the middle isn't near as popular as it was in the 70s and 80s and 90s. I think we should be running to our base too. And making a strike comparison of what the two parties will present you. Because I think as much as the middle is important in these elections, you know why the middle is important? Because we don't drive out our base. That's why the middle is important.
Yeah.
Obama won because he drove out the base. Bernie was winning those primaries like crazy until the establishment stepped in because he drove out the base. I think that if we get a bunch of college kids and a bunch of, not just college kids, people of all ages, if we get people of all ages that don't normally vote, but actually believe something will change and get done, they'll show up to vote in huge numbers. Hope and change was Obama's moniker. And people were tired of Bush. I mean, like, to be fair. I mean, like, people were tired of the war. Well, I got a spoiler for you about John McCain, everybody. Oh, he's dead. No, I was saying he was dead. Sorry, Megan. I don't feel bad. Oh, yeah. The Republicans are craven. There are no... Well, and I mean, like... I don't think John McCain is near worthy of the hero worship that the right used to give him. But he made a in 2008 he made a bomb Iran joke. Like it was like a Beach Boys bomb Iran joke. It was like, you know that Beach Boy song? Ba 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 bam 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 Iran. Yeah. But yeah, I think that Republicans are, oh, she's even worse. I mean, like, after Donald Trump won, as I've told a lot of our friends that are like, this can't happen, I'm like, don't ever say that about politics. Anything can happen.
Carrie Lake, a TV show host, almost won the governorship, and almost won. I did not say she won, you fucking Republicans. No, see, they said it. Episode 1, Carrie Lake won. See, and then there you go. Here's your clip, assholes.
Breaking
no, but
from
like,
America, the podcast endorses election stealing because the elections are rigged.
Well, Jesus, I'll get to that in a second. But no, like Megan could easily win. Like like she's more famous. She has that platform, and yeah, so terrifying.
I think she could win in like California. You know what I mean?
As far as
like,
election stealing is going, Republicans are the only one that do it.
Oh, I mean, like, yeah, these days, I'm sure there was plenty of election finagling over the course of our history.
Yeah, for sure. But I'm saying they're the only ones that like the voter. For those who don't know, me and Andrew's private TikTok messages, because I assumed you did. No, that lady that you sent me that said she voted twice. She was Republican and voted twice in the same.
Oh man,
in 2 different counties or something like that. I'm like, and that is not even the first story I've ever heard about Republicans doing it. Like, yeah, she said, I went to jail for it. Now I'm on probation, and I'm like. But you're saying that Democrats are the ones voting twice and stealing elections. You're the one that.
Well, I mean, I think
like,
they think that Trump idea, which Trump I believe too, is that everybody does the horrible things I do. I just get caught for it, and I just get called out by the media and the powers that be for it. And I don't think that's true. I think that there is some truth to it that a lot of people are corrupt on either side of the aisle, or not have the best intentions, or partisan beyond the point of logic. But I think that it is obvious that the Republicans at this point are more apt to do any dirty trick in the book to get what they need politically. And the Democrats are suffering for it. We lost a Supreme Court seat. Roe v. Wade is overturned because the Republicans... Yeah, multiple. Because the Republicans... I mean, but we should have had one stolen. Like, even if you consider the Trump election, like, there was a time under Obama that he should have gotten Merrick Garland onto the seat.
Oh, like, absolutely.
Like, that's just how simple it is. He was a moderate justice, like everything in history and precedent. It's almost like precedent and norms don't actually matter. I know they only matter to Democrats. You should codify rules instead and make actual laws instead of norms and precedents. They got in a seat that was under a Democratic president that was a Republican that changed everything. And I think that Republicans are willing to cheat more often now, especially as a establishment base, especially as like the power structures, other than the average person. But the average person, whether they be a moderate Republican or a crazy QAnon far right fascist, definitely is questioning whether or not there's election integrity. 70% of them. And that's because the leader of their party is saying the last election is stolen, which I think is a bad move politically, because it does drive people to not go vote if they truly believe it's all rigged.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, well, and that's the scary thing. Not scary. It's actually great for us, bad for Republicans. By the way, we're not a Republican show. Fun fact. But no, like they might sit out if he doesn't get the nomination. And which makes me think they're just going to give it to him because he's a toddler throwing a fit.
To be fair, like, I think we're not a Democratic show either. I think we're
no, we're not.
Yeah, we're not a fan of either party. We just vote for the not fascists. Yeah.
Are we an Antifa show?
Yeah,
oh boy.
I mean,
we're gonna have
we're gonna get called it. I mean, like, I am an anti-fascist, so
Yeah. Oh, is that what Antifa stands for?
Yeah, did you not know? Yeah. It means the opposite of fascism.
Oh, shit. How was that bad?
They're throwing soup cans, people. They say they're taking them to their families. That being said, I think that the Republicans are very the cheating thing, the stolen election thing, like I think that will disappear, but the existential damage that it has done to the party,
Mm,
I think may be one of the final nails in the coffin as the Republican Party. I think that eventually we will have the Republican Party become a regional party where,
yeah.
in certain southern states and like the Dakotas, they're still dominating, but they're going to start losing, especially if a lot of these systematic things like the gerrymandering, gets taken away. Like, for instance, you look at these results in the midterms in Wisconsin, right? So the Democrats won a statewide with 51% of the popular vote of everybody who voted in Wisconsin, but they only have
Right.
30% of the House. Like, that is because of gerrymandering. That is because Republicans have redrawn the districts in that state and made it where it is nigh impossible for Democrats to win them. Now, there's a new governor, though, because of that popular vote, that's going to
It's a Democrat, right?
Yep, that is going to help redraw
Yeah.
those districts. So that systematic like advantage the Republicans have is going to leave. And there are a lot of things like that.
Oh, I didn't even think about that for Wisconsin. Shit,
and Wisconsin will become like Minnesota and Pennsylvania again, where it's like a very light purple leaning blue. But I think that a lot of these structural changes are the only reason the Republican Party is still hanging on. The Republican Party, in honesty, like even talking with anybody at our age, right? Anybody under 50, under 45, like the Republican Party is what, a third to a quarter of the people we meet? Like I don't think that I've met, like the vast majority of people I meet are Democrats, and some of them are leftists.
Absolutely. That's the thing. Like 538 a long time ago, they showed like what it would look like if the districts were just gridded out like in just perfect squares, and like I mean the whole country votes Democrat like every single time. You maybe have a few red spots, but like if it was actually fair, I mean. The perfect example is if Google, get on your Google machine, because that maybe I didn't sound old saying that. And look up, it's Austin, Texas's, or really it's in Central Texas, but it's a district that, I mean, it's just a thin, weird line that goes from Austin down through New Braunfels down to San Antonio, which is like 100 and something miles of just but it's also maybe 10 miles wide, the entire thing, but it's carved in such a way that it's like, I don't know if it's a Democratic or a Republican district, but it's a dumb thing to have happened. And it's not even the most unoriginal one in this country. There's so many things like that.
Oh, yeah. Ugh. Yeah. I mean, like, the gerrymandering is insane. I will say, though, I think the Republicans are becoming a regional party. And the more that they stick to the Trump, like, cultish nature of their party, the more that's going to happen, right? The more they're going to turn off average people. I think that in states where it's purple, we should be running moderate Democrats that are moderates. But in states where it's left, like in California, let's get Dianne Feinstein out of there and put a real leftist in. Right, and in New York, we should be running leftists. In Illinois, we should be running leftists near Chicago. Like, I mean, power structures. Nobody's gonna tell her to retire. She has a bunch of yes people around her. But I mean, like, she's obviously unable to do the job because of her ailing mental capability. And I'm not. That's just the truth.
No. She. I mean, it's apparent. I even asked her about it on the news not too long ago. But also to your point of the whole people like it becoming regional for the Trump team to even win anything. Like one of our writers, Alexa Schreffler, who's got a new show coming out called We Were Horse Girls. We Were Horse Girls. That is so hard for me to say, man.
Oh, I thought we were going to sing it together.
Well, We Were Horse Girls. Yeah, there you go, guys. That's for you. But her dad was a Trump supporter and then is lately told her, like, I'm moving more toward the libertarian side of things. I'm kind of over it. Like, he's in a way is like, I think she described it as he's kind of bored with it. And I feel like that a lot of people are like, maybe not bored, just kind of like, God, is this my life? Is this, have I strapped myself to this?
The vast majority of voters aren't fucking 15 to 35-year-old white men sitting in a room looking at a computer screen going, poggers, fascism cool, like Keck W. Like they're not the people posting.
What the fuck did you just even say?
Yeah.
Can you please translate that for the rest of the audience? Or unless it's like really racist and bad, don't.
Hopefully our audience knows exactly what I said, and you just sound like an old man. No, I mean, like, I don't think that they're right-wing trolls that are like really into the drama is my point.
Right.
I think that there's a lot of people on the internet, on Twitter, on Twitch, on Facebook, if you're still on that, on Instagram, that are like young, dumb men that usually cis white men.
Like, it's always the cis white dudes that are
love the drama. They love the Trump drama, and they love liberal tears. No.
It's almost like they're unstable and overly emotional and probably shouldn't run anything.
And there are men in their 30s and 40s and 50s and 60s and 70s who still haven't grown out of that. But I think that the vast majority of those people, especially the young ones, aren't voting. They're posting. They're trolls. Right. And I think that a lot of older Republicans are done with the drama, right? Like, everyone got tired of looking at their phone every day and being like, what did he do today?
Yeah.
Like, I think that's why Joe Biden won. It wasn't because Joe Biden was charismatic.
Absolutely.
Like, it was because everybody was tired of looking at their phone and being like, God, Donald fucking Trump.
Dude, through 2016, one of the best jokes that resonated with me was from John Oliver when he said, like, if it's gone to a point where you look at your phone and it buzzes and you go, oh, thank God, it was just Mary Tyler Moore just died. That's it. Like, it's like, that's the worst thing that happened today. Like, you're not scared that, you know, some dickhead's gonna nuke France like all the live long day, and which is kind of the case with Putin now, but you know, it's not to a much lesser extent. Like this guy, Donnie, and it scares me that he could become.
I mean, I was about to say,
it really does.
I am scared that Donald Trump, in order to prove that Russiagate was bullshit, which it pretty much was, would be hardline on Putin in a Ukraine conflict if he'd still been president or becomes president again, and that would lead to escalation in World War III and thus the death of the vast majority of the Northern Hemisphere. So I don't want that. But that being, there are people I like. I don't mind if I get hit by a nuke, but the people that I love, I prefer not to get hit by a nuke.
I don't want you to get hit by a nuke. You should not want to get hit by a nuke.
Oh, thanks. Thanks, listeners.
I'm gonna go on record and say, you know what?
Remember, listeners,
you shouldn't want to get hit by a nuke.
Constant reminders that I am appreciated and approved because of my mental illnesses.
Caused by Donald Trump and working to fight him.
I mean, silver-haired Donald Trump. Shout out to Roger Turner. Anyways, that being said, I think that the reason that we won is because the youth vote showed up.
Yeah,
you know, that's not the only reason.
Did they show up a lot? Like, what was the percentage?
Youth? It's the second most, I think, in modern history. Like, I think it was 27% with an aggregate of 31% estimated. I have the actual polling place here. The National Election Pool Survey, conducted by Edison Research, found that 63% of the youth voted for Democrats, while 35% voted for Republican candidates in the U.S. House of Representatives. That's pretty much 2020. But it does represent a slight shift. It was a little bit better in 2020 when Trump was on the ticket, with 67% for Democrat and 32% for Republican. 27% of people showed up, with an aggregate of 31% of the youth, of people under 30, essentially. That is much better than any election that was not 2018 or 2020.
Right.
I mean, like, I think having Donald Trump on the ticket does make a lot of people that hate Donald Trump show up to vote that wouldn't normally.
Yeah.
But with all that being said, you know what would make those young people show up to vote in droves beyond what we've ever seen? Medicare for all being passed.
Yeah. On any side, I think that would make a fuck ton of people show up.
Green New Deal, like the legalization of marijuana nationwide. Like,
and I'm scared the Republicans are going to try and pass that themselves.
They should. I mean, here's
if they want to win,
Here's a freebie from a leftist political strategist, Republicans. If you want to pick up some seats, pass a nationwide, or even like in Texas. Like, if the Republicans passed a marijuana, I know they won't. I'm just saying, like, politically, I would be advising them to, because
absolutely,
it would maintain them for another 2 to 4 years in power.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I think that it's such an easy win for such a low pushback these days. Like even Christians and parent groups aren't yelling about marijuana anymore. Like
No, nobody
they're
gives
too
a shit.
busy yelling about poor trans kids than they are to worry about marijuana or Harry Potter.
Well, it's just it's the new left. Well, for trans kids and for pot, it was the same thing, but it's the new left-handedness. It's just the one thing they want to, like, you know, back in the day they thought, you know, left-handed people were possessed. Yeah, it's exactly. It's the like, oh, you're possessed by the devil. Fun fact: I was told in my church that all gay people, when you're talking to them, you're talking to a demon, and that's who's talking through that person to you, and that all gay people are possessed by demons. Thanks, Glenview Baptist Church.
Wait, are bisexuals half demons?
Am I bisexuals are half demons. Sorry, Andrew, you're half demon.
Fuck yes, I'm half demon. I think I'm an anime character now. I think I'm the lead in an anime.
I mean, yeah, Chainsaw Face or something. I need to watch that show.
Glasses Man. And then it's just like a beautiful montage of me in anime with high-speed rail going by and me standing on the Statue of Liberty.
With either cool jazz music or some sort of very epic Japanese Celine Dion.
Oh, it's both. It's like a jazz background and then electric guitar comes in for the like. Yeah. It's great. It's awesome. And then I'm thinking like Metal Gear Solid, like pull out, you know, at the end where you see me, punish Bernie, maybe Hassan Piker, you. Like we all have eye patches. It's going to go great.
Amazing. All right. Last thing, the Democrats that are going to run. What do we think? I personally think Gavin Newsom is going to run. Winning, no. Kamala, Gavin, and that's all I've got.
I don't think anyone will run if Joe Biden said he's going to run again. I don't think anyone will challenge him.
I don't know, man. I don't think he's going to run again. But yeah, you think man, God damn it. I swear to God, if this is another Trump
this is the first thing we like honestly disagree on. I think that Biden will run again, and I think it will be likely Trump versus Biden. Man, now, I'm not going to call that, but I think that's what happened.
And I don't blame him for running again because
Joe Biden, I blame you.
But in the sense of in his mind, like, I mean, he technically, and to a much lesser extent than we want, has gotten a lot done and has gotten a lot of what he said he would do done to, again, a lesser extent. Like, you know, cancel out student debt, all this stuff.
He policy-wise is the most progressive president in recent history.
Yeah,
I would argue that he stumbled into all that and that we need a lot more to actually get anything done.
And he rallied people, though. Like, I mean, he didn't really lose Congress that much compared to what he should have lost with his approval rating.
I don't think I don't talking to voters for the last 3 months, getting people registered and out to vote. I don't think anyone was like, you know, I wasn't going to vote, but after what Joe Biden said, you know, I'm going to get out there and vote.
True. Yeah.
I think that Roe v. Wade being overturned and Donald Trump being the looming fascist threat got young people out to vote. Yeah. I think now here's the deal. I think student debt relief helped that a lot, but I think that was a policy. Sure. Any Democratic president could and should have done that. Like and they should have done more. They should have canceled the whole thing. If they can cancel 20,000, you can cancel the whole thing. But I mean, I think that young people aren't showing up to vote for Joe Biden. I don't think that that's true. I think he believes something like that he's the only one who can defeat Trump. But the truth is I think anyone could have defeated Trump in 2016. And Joe Biden was one of the worst candidates. In 2016,
yes. 2020, I don't know.
Oh, no, excuse me. In 2020, not
you
in 2016.
Think anybody could have beaten him in 2020?
Yeah, I think the pandemic really hurt him. I think getting COVID a month before the election really hurt him. I think that a lot of people were tired, like we said, of seeing his name every day in the news. I think Joe Biden was one of the worst candidates to run. Like him and Klobuchar would have been the worst because they were boring.
Oh, God. Yeah, you're right.
But I think that still boring was more appealing than crazy. Now, I think that, you know, Sanders, Warren, as much as I hate that ticket, would have gotten out both young people and
I would have rallied hard for that ticket. Oh my God. Like that's the two best people that could have been competent enough and at least one of them left leaning enough and not a fake liberal who's actually a Reagan person.
I mean, I wish
Which one was I talking about? I'll let you decide.
I wish
America.
she hadn't have undercut Bernie and instead would have just said early on, like, hey, let's run on a dual ticket. Yeah.
I know. Like they would have clinched it. Like, I do not understand. Like, I know she wanted to be the first woman president. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure, of course she did. But
I
like,
mean, okay,
if that
first
was the
off,
only reason
everyone
to,
wants to be president that's involved in politics.
sure,
Everyone.
yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Whether or not it's the first woman or not. So I don't begrudge her that. But I do think that she made their feud very public. And I do think
Yeah.
that Bernie
So dumb.
Bernie should have gone all out, which he didn't, on everyone. You know, I think he should have been more of a firebrand. There's a lot of mistakes in that campaign.
He
just
should
like
have been
there
more
was in 2016.
populist. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, he should have just called people out more. He was trying to play the game too much. But that's for another podcast. I think
True.
that the people that are going to run, if Joe Biden doesn't run, are going to, you know, maybe Bernie. I think that's still a possibility. He's just as fired up, it looks like now, as he was 4 years ago and 8 years before that. Like, he doesn't look to have appeared to have lost any energy or vigor.
No, he hasn't. I mean, compared to Joe Biden, absolutely.
And if everybody running is going to be fucking 80, then what does it matter?
I know, yeah. So what's the matter? Yeah, like if we're going up against Trump, I'm like, okay, well, let's just run the other 80-year-old.
Yeah, the one who will get shit done. That's good.
Gonna be one of those angry old people that's gonna live to 110 and only die because he like choked on a grape.
And I think that if people are excited to vote, not just voting against the other party, will win more seats in Congress and in the Senate, which means an agenda will be easier to pass.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, I think the way that you win the most seats is you put up a popular candidate with popular policies and then enact them. Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy that politics would be that basic of a concept. But if you put up the most popular people, which Bernie Sanders is the most popular senator in the United States, like 20 years running, it may not be 20, but it's a long time.
Long time, not 20 years, but around, I would say close to 10 though. He's been up there.
Yeah, it's somewhere around there. I mean, like, I just think you run popular candidates that don't sound like idiots, and you have them run on popular policy agendas, and you pass those agendas, and people will show up to vote for you in mass. Crazy. I think FDR proves that. You know, like the fact that a man got elected 4 times to president because he passed a new deal that was extremely popular.
Yeah.
It wasn't extremely popular with the rich or the union busters, but it was extremely popular with the populace. And because of that, the Republican Party had to completely reformat after fighting him. And, you know, much to say the same about Kennedy, much to say the same about Obama. I much to say the same about Reagan.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
popular guys that got a lot done all at once because it was popular at the time. Yeah.
Or at least they ran on it, you know. At least they ran.
Well, whether or not they got it done is
I think passing Romney Care is not really that great of an achievement, but sure. I think that the people who are going to run are Newsom, Bernie,
Hillary,
Warren. If Hillary runs,
I know, but man, I'm telling you, I don't know what that stupid rich guy meeting is called, they were all there.
Some Davos fucking
yeah. I think it might have been Davos. Yeah, I think that was it.
Fucking meeting.
Yeah, where all those dickheads show up and hobnob with billionaires to be
Jeffrey
kingmakers.
Epstein's ghosts host the keynote speaker. Yeah, I think that Hillary's a possibility. I mean, like, here's the deal. If Biden says he doesn't run, the truth of the matter is it's fucking a smorgasbord. It'll be like the Republicans
it'll be
were
the
2016. Yeah.
Republicans in 2016 and Dems in 2018 did the same thing. Yeah.
Or 2020.
2020. Yeah, 20. Yeah.
But I think it'll even be worse than 2020 because it'll be against a non-incumbent Republican, right? It'll be a truly open seat, which means anybody who thinks that they have the financial backing and the popularity and the ideas will run. And you'll see like 20 Democrats run. And we'll see. Now, here's the deal. I think Joe Biden's going to run again. But if he doesn't, and maybe it's not as bad as the Republicans. Maybe it's not 20. Maybe it's 10. Maybe I'm exaggerating. Maybe it's not as bad as I think
it was about 25 for the Democrats in 2020, dude. I was going to try and do videos of all of them for America, the podcast, and I I just failed because it was like, there's
the debate stage. There's like
so
18,
many.
Right? Like, and then like
they had to have 2 debates. They had a ranking one and then a lower ranking.
Oh God, A team and B team. I think that if Joe Biden doesn't run, it will be an open field. I think the most
100%.
likely to win is Bernie or someone like Warren or like a Klobuchar. Or I mean, like
you mean to win the nomination if Biden doesn't want?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I just think they'll come out against Bernie again. They hate that guy.
Yeah,
like we don't.
They will.
No one does.
No. They will. He just has to run a fucking like like fire to the earth campaign.
Yeah, he needs to be Trump, but for the Democrats.
Yeah,
like,
he needs
or the socialists. I guess
he needs to start saying like the establishment doesn't want me to run. They don't want me to win. Like the fact is the establishment is coming out. I like Barack Obama. He's a good man, but he is working his hardest to make sure I'm not the next president.
Exactly. Just repeat his words.
He needs to, because people are tired of establishment politics and status quo.
Yeah.
They want a real change, and I think that he should run on that if he's going to. I think that Shapiro, the latest governor of Pennsylvania.
Shapiro?
No, you fucking idiot.
For some reason, I don't know.
Josh Shapiro, I believe is his name. The man who just won the Pennsylvania governorship. He's a rising star in the Democratic Party. He's very well spoken. Yeah. I think that he has some very good policies. So is our new senator from Pennsylvania. I don't think once again 2024, but in the future.
Oh man, that's okay. So that's what I want to not totally end on, because I want to end on the one thing we had talked about. But the fact that Democrats, the only way to win is to get a bunch of John Fettermans, working class. Stop getting these elitist suit wearing nerds and get John Fetterman, clone him a million times.
Yeah, but the elitist suit-wearing nerds are loved by the rich elitist suit-wearing nerds. That
but they don't win well, and you will get I've said it once, I've said it before. I've said it a million times. We need a Labor Party in America. I hope the Republican Party splits to the conservatives and to the Freedom Party, and that we split into the socialists and centrists or something.
I hope the Republican Party eats itself, and the Democrats become the majority. And the Republicans become a regional party, and the Democrats still. I don't hope this. I hope that they become the greatest leftist party in all of human history and lead us into gay space communism. But
gay space communism.
What I think is the ideal, actual, rational, possible future is that the Republicans continue to alienate themselves because of Fox News and Newsmax and their media pushing their base. They become a regional party. The Democrats take control for 10 or 20 years. Everyone still realizes that a lot of these systematic changes aren't changing under Democrats, and then you have a break from the Democratic Party that's true left. That you have the AOCs, the whoever is Bernie, takes his crown from him. They'll break off and form a new party, which will become very popular and populist. Happened to the Democratic Republicans, and then the Democrats became their own party. Or excuse me, the Republicans became their own party.
The Whig.
Yeah, and the Whigs died out. I think that will happen to the Republican
Whigs
Party.
Just died out.
I think that a lot of the time
they'll be fringe by the 2050.
Yeah.
It'll be a weird fringe thing. Remember the Republicans? They were terrible.
You'll start seeing I think around the 2040s, 2050s, when we're old men, I think that you will start seeing debate stages where there's a Republican candidate, a Democratic candidate, and then,
something,
whatever they're going to call themselves on the left, the birdie party, with a tiny little bird or something. I don't know, but the leftist party on stage, and the Republican will just be like, both these people suck. You vote for me in South Dakota, and they'll all be like, we will. And then the Democrat and the leftist are going to look at each other and be like, all right, well, we're fighting for California and New York and Texas at that point, probably. And Florida. Maybe not Florida, actually, but Texas, I think that.
No, never Florida. I have zero.
Florida is the only
written
state,
them off.
Yeah, Florida is the only state that I've been like, oh, it's gotten more right. Actually,
it's actually gotten more right.
That I'm like, oh, this state has actually turned more right wing.
I was legit actually surprised a little bit. I was like, really? And he won so hard in Miami, it kind of threw me. I guess, man, they really hate communism there. And I understand why. For the Cuban and immigrants that populate that area, and some hate it. You think some versus not?
No, I just don't understand why.
Oh yeah,
I think that a lot of it is, a lot of it is rich Cubans. I think that, and also I think that I don't know. I think that the argument against Cuba and authoritarian ways in Cuba has always been overblown by propaganda in the United States government, and a lot of their problems are because we've had an embargo on them for 60 years. That's not to say I justify anything authoritarian done. I do think it's overblown by the fucking CIA and our media, though. I also think that a lot of the people that I see complaining in South Florida come from rich Cuban families.
I agree.
That had their shit taken away.
Rich
by
families
Castro.
in general,
And you know what? Maybe people shouldn't accumulate wealth in mass in general. I definitely am not for a supporter of violence or anyone getting hurt or anyone feeling
But redistribute some of that wealth.
Redistributing that wealth, I didn't disagree with. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that, I think Florida is also unique in that it's always been thought of as a swing state, and really it's been another southern state because Miami has been so blue, and that's changing. So I don't want to write off any state. I think we should do a 50-state strategy, and we should compete for every seat.
Absolutely. It just personally
Florida would be our biggest challenge.
Yeah, that's really what I mean. Like, and I do write it off. I just don't care anymore. Like there's 50 other, not yet. Hopefully there will be 50 others if we can get Puerto Rico
51.
in there.
Yeah, we need to get DC in there too.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. DC, Guam, and Virgin Islands, and was that it? I know there's 6 territories, and including DC, I think. But
I mean, you're naming off more than me.
I'm doing a history show right now with America the Podcast.
We apologize to all our fellow citizens that don't have any rights, that we don't know the name of where you live.
We hope you become states.
Sorry about the colonialism thing.
So to end, we want to end our dystopian show on a high note that got even much higher, I guess, today of
perfect timing,
Elon Musk saying that he's not going to keep managing Twitter, I guess, because he's overwhelmed. I'm like, girl, no, you're not overwhelmed. You're just bad at your job.
I want to say thank you to every other troll on Twitter that was with me. This is for you. I'm holding up the I Quit award here on stage. Tim is seeing
Thank you to the fake Eli Lilly accounts, Lockheed Martin, Nintendo.
Thank you to Fuck You Mario. That was great.
Oh God. I mean, okay. Just for who doesn't know, real quick, and I hope you have seen them, look them up. The Lockheed Martin one we're suspending all sales to Saudi Arabia, Israel, and the United States pending an investigation in their human rights abuses. And then Eli Lilly is the maker of insulin and said insulin is free now. When both those tweets went out, their stock prices plummeted, and it was good capitalist tears to drink.
31 billion, I think, for Eli Lilly.
$31 billion.
Like somebody paid $8.
Oh my! To
make
ruin a company,
and it took away 31 billion in stock. The most effective anti-capitalist move in history.
Oh my! No, like, I mean, dude, this was Wall Street Bets is like, I'm gonna do this. This one guy who paid $8 for Twitter verification. Hold my beer.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's almost like Twitter was doing that verification of companies for a reason, like beforehand.
Oh, yeah. Well, now it's blue check and then ultra verified. What is it? It's like official verified.
He took away the $8.99 blue check last I saw. And
Dude.
He said it's coming back, but also he's leaving. So we'll see. But it's pretty much back to the way it started. He reversed engineered himself back into like it being the way it always was. I mean, like,
he may still lay off more people, by the way, wanting them to work 16-hour days and shit.
This comes from the richest man in the world wanting to be funny, as you and I talked about last night. And I think that in itself is hilarious. He's not hilarious, but the idea that the richest man in the world is so insecure that he needs to like be like, look at me, fellow kids. I'm funny.
Look, I have a bandana around my neck.
When literally he could before he bought Twitter, we looked it up. He had $121 billion.
Yeah, something like that.
I like you have 121, but you are richer than Solomon. Like you are richer than Mansa Musa.
Is he?
I mean, I don't
think he's right. No, Mansa Musa is like
it's
close. Really high.
It's Mansa Musa levels. You know what I mean? It's S tier. Like
y'all should look up Mansa Musa, by the way, richest guy to ever exist, and partied so hard he bankrupted an economy and then paid off their economy afterwards.
Multiple economies. Bad. Yeah, it was just Egypt that he felt the worst about, so he gave a bunch of gold back.
Man, great drunk history episode about it.
Oh man, Mansa Musa is great. That being said, definitely did more for the poor as a rich person than the vast majority of our billionaires.
Oh, absolutely.
That being said, I think like you have $121 million, buddy. Like, stop trying to get people to like you. Go find.
I know.
Go find a private island. Marry a beautiful woman who only wants you for your money. I mean, or a man, whatever you prefer, or somebody who doesn't have a gender pronoun. Or is neutral.
Or don't be married at all. Just go away. Can you just go away?
Form a polycule. out in the do the FTX crypto bro thing, except without the scamming, and go form a fucking like weird cultist polycule out in the middle of nowhere on an island. Have your butlers bring you whatever your favorite fucking meal is every day and your favorite drink, and watch your favorite shows and write your favorite stories, and like forget about the rest of us. You have
leave us alone.
$121 billion. You won. The game is over. The throne is yours, Bron. Take it. Like, take it, silly little South African Bron. You have
Emerald
the throne. Emerald Boy. But he is so, it speaks to the like nature of humanity, right? That you can have everything and you still need to have 16 to 25-year-olds think you're funny on the internet for some reason.
Yeah, I don't get him. And I for a moment thought that he was just doing this to kill Twitter on purpose. And then
you argued this with me last night. We were talking about if this was on purpose, and I was like, no, he's not. He's not that smart.
Then I woke up this morning to, I fucking told you so. I'm like, oh yeah, all right, I'm wrong.
I was like, he'll pass it off to somebody.
Wrong.
He'll pass it off to somebody else when his new shiny toy isn't fun anymore, and he'll go back to making rockets because that's what he wants to really do. And saying that Tesla's good when they're death machines, allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly.
But I mean, like, as I said last night, and the reason I got the I told you so is I did not expect it to happen this soon. I thought it'd be a couple more months.
Oh, I know. I was shocked when you sent me that. I was like, oh wow, that was really fast. Like, I knew he is he gonna sell it before the end of the year? I think maybe.
If he doesn't actually control it, I don't think he'll ever sell it. Like until it becomes so much of a financial burden that he has to, right? His investors and his other companies be like, you need to get rid of this albatross that you've bought around your neck. This $5 to $10 billion company you paid $44 billion for. I mean, like,
you could have gotten for cheaper.
And in the end, he's not going to wind up renting because he's mad at getting made fun of, and looking like an idiot. I mean, he fired employees like on Twitter, which I'm sure is against labor law. He told all of them they had 2 days to decide 2 days ago if they're going to be hardcore about Twitter or he's going to lay them all off.
Send them a 2 a.m. email or something like that.
Oh my God.
about all
shocker
of that.
Here, the richest man in the world exploits his workers. Who would have guessed?
He's on par, or on not par, but on record to tweet the most in any day or something like that. Like he's doing 25 times a day or something, which I feel like is spam at that point.
I don't know. Donnie's got to be up there. Donnie got,
back when he was tweeting.
There were some days when I was like, when he wasn't doing anything that was like, actively doing anything. I'm sure he was plenty of policies he enacted were doing it that day, but he wasn't actively doing anything to like rip apart the fabric of our republic or our society or our species. And he was like, Rosie O'Donnell is really gross. And like, he would just go off on like a 30 or 40 page, tweet
about
rampage.
Rosie O'Donnell. Oh, God.
Oh yeah, I'm really hoping that like in the end it's her standing over him as he like seizes a little bit and she goes, "I want you to know it was me. I want her to Marjorie Tyrell this really bad."
Oh, God. Yeah, dude. I know. I was telling my sister the other day, like, I really want to go on a
Olenna Tyrell. Don't get in the mentions. Don't at me, bro. It was Olenna. I know my fucking Game of Thrones. I'm sorry. Marjorie died in the Sept. Poor
my
Marjorie.
sister and her partner were like I was talking to them like, I want to go on a pee tour of the country in like 10 years and just on everybody's graves.
Oh yeah, I was like, I don't know what that means, but this podcast just changed dramatically. But yeah,
pee tours by American Conversation.
Graves. Yeah.
Yeah. Start with Jeff Sessions, move to Donnie because we could play a round of golf if we go pee on Donnie.
As a writer, I suggest you phrase it as grave piss tour, so people know instinctively
grave piss tour.
Yeah, that you're not going around collecting urine for some
fair
nefarious
enough.
reason.
Yeah, no. Politically, I don't think there's anything to gain from going around collecting pee. I mean, Ted Cruz does do that.
I was about to say, are you running as a libertarian? Because yes, there is.
Oh, libertarians, go away.
On that note, I guess I'm going to go away.
All right. So that's it. That's our trailer, or an hour-long trailer for you, and we'll be back on January 6th. Is the official premiere, and discussing being 2 years removed from that day and celebrating, all the new senators, hopefully still Raphael Warnock coming back in and being sworn in, and regretting some of that. And as of this moment, Lauren Boebert hasn't won. And I'm very
I'm not
Like,
gonna,
I really
I'm
hope
not
she
gonna,
doesn't. I'm so
I'm not
tired
gonna
of
get
her.
my hopes up, but God, what
I am
a
not.
fucking
She's
Christmas
losing
present, right?
or winning by like 120 votes.
If
So I don't know if it's going to go
oh.
to a recount or what. If there's so little people in that part of Colorado, but who knows? Maybe we can. If she is not there, we will pop a bottle of
Can I
champagne
send
at
her
the beginning of the
flowers?
episode.
Viewers, can we send her flowers? Is that legal? Are we allowed to send
don't
a former
think you're-
congresswoman flowers?
Oh, to one of her. To that bar that her pedophile husband opened, or sex offender husband. Sorry,
we could allegedly.
No, registered. I'm pretty sure.
Right.
No,
Awesome.
No, I think he was convicted, and if he wasn't, it's allegedly. Sorry,
Okay,
Lauren
cool.
Boebert.
Yeah, all right, we'll figure it out. Don't sue us. That being said, yeah, if we can send flowers to her congressional office, I guess if she loses, I really just want to send mourning flowers to her.
Yeah, no, I do.
Like,
I
sorry
do.
for your loss.
I feel like you could. It's like under $100, under $20. I don't know. So like, send her a flower. And just said it was me.
A flower seems like a Game of Thrones threat yet again.
That's a Game of Thrones threat. One black rose.
Yeah.
Like, oh God.
Look at what Damon has left upon my pillow. One black rose. Surely bright star shall burn me tonight at the stake.
Oh my God. All right, we're gonna get out of here. You can follow us on Twitter at America the Convo and on Instagram and TikTok at America the Conversation. Facebook too, if you're still there. We're on Apple, Amazon, Google, Pandora, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, and we have a Patreon as well. You can go to americatheconversation.com if you're having trouble finding us in one of those stores, because I know that can happen sometimes with certain new shows. That's it. We'll see you January 6th. Oh, wait. Yeah, that's right. If you are pissed off about something in America, you can call 682-382-1023, and maybe we'll put your rant in the show as long as it's not outright racist. So, or racist at all. No subliminal racism.
Really,
just
let's
just
avoid
no
any
racism.
hate. Just
Any
no
hate. Just you get grievances.
If it's
maybe
not hate
maybe
for
we'll
Ted Cruz, Ted Cruz
Yeah.
is the one exception. You can be a Ted Crudist.
Yeah, and that rant could possibly go in America the Podcast mini episodes as well. So go listen to our show, subscribe to it wherever you get your podcasts, America the Podcast do, and check out Shway Media, SHWAY media.com for more shows. And we'll see you January 6th. Hi. Hi, America. It's Tim. We just stopped recording, and right after we did, about 1 to 2 minutes after, Nancy Pelosi announced that she's stepping down as the top Democrat after 2 decades.
Wow. Crazy.
All right. That's it. Time for the show. Or the end. I don't know where I'm putting this. America the Conversation is a production of America the Podcast and Shway Media. The show is created, produced, and hosted by Andrew Turner and Tim Philippi. The show is mixed and edited by Tim Philippi at Shway Media Studios in Austin, Texas. Music for America the Conversation was created by Timmy Two Step. For more, please visit americatheconversation.com.
This has been a production of Shway Media, all rights reserved. For more information, please visit shwaymedia.com.